Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, this is where we take a whole stack of information, really dig in, and pull out the most important bits, give you that shortcut to being, well, genuinely well-informed. So today, think about this. How can something as seemingly simple as a water dispenser, how can that actually reveal really fascinating global economic trends and, big shifts in consumer behavior?
It's quite surprising what you can learn from them, isn't it?
It really is. So our deep dive today, it's focused specifically on the compressor-type hot and cold water dispenser market. And we're zoning in on these compressor types because, well, they're a bit different. They use actual refrigeration tech, unlike the simpler models.
Exactly. So you get genuinely cold water, not just cool, alongside the hot. Makes them more robust, efficient.
Right. And often seen as more, I guess, premium. Or even essential, maybe, in offices and increasingly homes, too.
Definitely seeing that trend.
And look, all our insights, all the numbers we're talking about today, they come straight from the Global Water Dispenser Market Forecasts to 2033 report.
Which is published by Cognitive Market Research.
That's the one. Okay. So our mission here is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Give you a clear picture of this specific market, uncover maybe some surprising facts, and just make sense of the numbers behind it all. Okay, let's start with the big picture, the global market. Back in 2021, the sales revenue for these dispensers was just over $921 million.
Getting close to $1 billion.
Yeah. Now, fast forward to 2025, and that's expected to jump quite a bit to over $1.3 billion.
So a pretty healthy increase there already.
But here's the real kicker. By 2033, the projection is for revenues to climb way up to nearly $2.65 billion.
Wow, okay.
Think about that, almost doubling just from the 2025 number.
That's huge growth.
It translates to a strong compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 9.2%. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, that 9.2% is significant. And what's fascinating here, and the report really highlights this, is a shift in how people are seeing these appliances globally. They're moving, pretty quickly from being just a nice to have, a luxury, or maybe just a convenience, to being considered, well, essential.
It's essential, right.
And it's not just about getting hot and cold water easily. It suggests something bigger, like a global rise in demand for reliable, purified water access inside homes and businesses. It kind of hints at broader improvements in living standards, maybe even where tap water quality is still a bit of a concern.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so with that strong global growth as the backdrop, let's zoom in a bit. Where is this expansion actually happening? Region by region. Let's start with North America. So this region pulled in revenues around $224 million in 2021, and that's projected to grow to over $623 million by 2033. That's a solid CAGR, 8.89%.
Still very strong, yeah.
Looking closer within North America, the U.S., obviously the biggest market,
Yeah.
it's expected to more than double its sales, from around $159 million in 2021 up to over $416 million by 2033. But interestingly, Canada actually shows even stronger momentum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's projected to nearly triple its market size. Jumps from about $47 million in 21 to almost $147 million by 2033. It's a double-digit CAGR, over 10%.
Wow, 10.146%. That's noticeable.
Right. And Mexico is also seeing a significant upward trend, also set to basically triple its market to nearly $60 million in that same time frame.
Those internal North American differences are quite telling. I mean, the U.S. market is huge, of course, but Canada's higher growth rate, that 10+% CAGR, it does suggest a faster adoption curve there. The report sort of hints it could be a mix of things, maybe, a quicker uptake in new homes, perhaps a stronger push towards filtered water for health or environmental reasons, moving away from plastic bottles.
That could be it. A faster curve in certain areas.
Yeah, definitely something for companies to watch closely.
Okay, moving across the Atlantic now to Europe, it's a bit more of a diverse picture over there. Europe reported revenues around $186 million in 2021. That's forecast to rise to over $504 million by 2033. So an 8.68% CAGR, still pretty strong.
Very respectable growth, yeah.
Yeah. Key players. Well, the United Kingdom seems to lead the way in terms of momentum. They're expecting to nearly triple their market, too, to almost $90 million by 2033. That's a 9.75% CAGR. Germany's close behind, set to go over $108 million. Then you've got France, Italy, Russia, all showing steady, healthy growth.
Consistent expansion across the major economies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, according to the report. While those big economies are growing nicely, there's this category called Rest of Europe. And that segment is expected to surge. It was just under $6 million back in 2021.
Okay, quite small then.
Right. But it's projected to hit an impressive $28.2 million by 2033. And get this rest of Europe group isn't just growing, it's posting the strongest CAGR in the whole region, a whopping 13.43%.
13.4%. Wow. Okay, that is interesting. That really signals that some emerging markets within Europe are, well, hitting an acceleration phase for adopting these kinds of appliances. The report doesn't list every single country in that rest of category, but it strongly implies, smaller or maybe less saturated markets, perhaps Eastern Europe, parts of Southern Europe, places seeing maybe faster economic development right now. And with that, a rise in consumer demand for these conveniences, for purified water.
So that's where the new demand is really kicking in
It
fast.
seems like it. It's where you see those shifts in consumer preference really taking hold quickly.
Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot now. Asia Pacific. Now, this region, it shows both just immense scale, dominance, and rapid acceleration.
A powerhouse region for this market, typically.
Totally. Sales there were over $311 million in 2021, projected to nearly triple again, up to $871 million by 2033. That's an 8.95% CAGR overall for the region.
Very strong, consistent with the global average almost.
And as you might guess, China really dominates here, expected to reach over $257 million by 2033. But India is highlighted as one of the fastest growing markets within APAC.
Okay, that aligns with other trends we see.
Right. It's climbing from about $41 million in 2021 to nearly $132 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 10.07%. Another double-digit grower.
Over 10% for India, yeah. Significant.
Definitely. And then you have Japan, South Korea, Australia, Singapore, all making really significant contributions to this impressive regional picture. Singapore also showing strong momentum, close to 9%.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, Asia-Pacific's growth is really fueled by its diversity, isn't it? You've got China's massive scale and ongoing urbanization, obviously a huge driver, but then India's rapid rise, that double-digit growth, the report points squarely at, the expanding middle class there, people prioritizing convenience, wanting access to purified water right in their homes. The sheer population scale combined with economic development, those are the core engines.
Makes sense. Huge potential being unlocked there. Okay, from Asia, let's head over to South America. This continent shows pretty consistent expansion. Sales revenue was about $75.5 million in 2021, forecasted to reach over $208 million by 2033. That's an 8.79% TGR, so steady growth.
Solid, yeah. Keeping pace.
Brazil leads the charge there. Projected to nearly triple its market size to over $80 million by 2033, with a CAGR over 9%. And Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile. They also show strong, steady growth figures. It suggests pretty broad adoption across the continent.
Yeah, the patterns in South America seem to reflect that consistent increase in demand. You could probably link it to ongoing urbanization, like in Asia.
Yeah.
Maybe overall improvements in living standards, a focus on upgrading household items. It suggests, a gradually maturing market for these dispensers, but a stable one. They're becoming more integrated into daily life across different economic levels.
Right, becoming more standard. Okay, next up, the Middle East. This market shows really robust and accelerating growth. It recorded over $67 million in 2021, and it's forecast to hit over $206 million by 2033. That's an impressive 9.71% CAGR.
Getting close to that 10% mark for the whole region.
Yeah, and countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE, Egypt, Qatar, they're all showing really strong momentum. The UAE in particular stands out. It has a TGR of almost 10.3%, moving from about $10.5 million up to over $34 million by 2033.
Wow, the UAE is slightly edging out Saudi Arabia there in growth rate?
Seems like it.
Well, the Middle East is significant growth. It feels largely driven by that rapid development we see, rising disposable incomes in many key areas. Those high CGRs, especially Saudi Arabia and the UAE, they point to strong economic activity, sure, but also a clear consumer appetite for modern conveniences. Easy access to filtered, temperature-controlled water. And given the climate in much of the region...
Right. Hot and cold water on demand is probably pretty appealing.
Exactly. It's likely seen as an increasingly vital part of just comfortable living there.
Okay, finally, we arrive at Africa. And Africa truly stands out in this report. It's positioned as the highest growth frontier for this market.
Okay, I was waiting for this one. The numbers.
Get this. Sales were about $57 million in 2021, projected to surge to nearly $235 million by 2033.
Wow, okay, that's more than quadrupling.
Exactly. It represents one of the highest regional TGRs in the world, 12.4%.
12.4%. That's phenomenal growth.
It really is. And within Africa, South Africa shows the strongest individual CJR at almost 13%, growing from about $26 million to over $112 million by 2033. Nigeria is also booming, moving from just over $20 million to over $80 million in the same period. That's a 12.25% CJR.
So really strong growth across key African economies.
Yeah, and the rest of Africa category is also growing at over 11%.
Africa's role here as this high-growth region, showcasing such strong demand, it's incredibly significant. These numbers, they scream burgeoning market, immense untapped potential. You have to assume it's driven by, well, multiple factors. Increasing urbanization, definitely. The emergence of a growing middle class, absolutely. But also maybe a heightened awareness around health, hygiene, and reliable water access.
Right, practical solutions needed.
Yeah, the report implies these water dispensers are becoming highly sought after, seen as a practical way to meet daily purified water needs, perhaps where infrastructure hasn't fully caught up yet. And this raises an important question. What do these really high growth rates, especially in regions like Africa, what do they truly tell us about the pace of economic development and shifting consumer priorities on a global scale?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? So what does this all mean when you put it together? Just to recap quickly, the compressor type, hot and cold water dispenser market. It's not just expanding. Everywhere seeing these remarkable regional differences. You got North America and Europe showing steady, significant growth, solid markets. But then regions like Asia Pacific, the Middle East, and especially Africa, they're really emerging as the high growth frontiers. They're leading the charge in terms of adoption speed.
And understanding these shifts, these regional dynamics, it's actually crucial for you, the listener, whether you're just curious about, global consumer trends evolving, or maybe you need professional insights because you're in manufacturing or retail or logistics or something related. It really pinpoints where economic development is actively driving new demands and reshaping, fundamentally, these household appliance markets worldwide.
So maybe the provocative thought to leave you with is this. How might the spread, the increasing ubiquity of something as seemingly basic as a water dispenser, how might that actually be a subtle yet powerful indicator, a sign of broader economic development, a sign of rising consumer comfort levels, maybe even evolving infrastructure needs and solutions across very different parts of our world?
It's a lot packed into one appliance.
It really is. Something to think about next time you grab a glass of water. We really hope this deep dive into the numbers and trends sparks some curiosity for you. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and definitely keep diving deep into the topics that capture your interest.